Hello guys, magandang araw sa ating lahat. Ngayong araw naman guys, magte-training kami or magte-training ako ng confined space training. Ito yung sinasabi nating pag halimbawang magtatrabaho ka sa mga underground, kalimitan sa ganyan mga confined space sa loob ng tangke, kailangan natin yan guys. Nandito ngayon ako sa Venture Golf Safety and Training Center. And kung halimbawang familiar kayo sa video na to, para sa inyo ang video na to para malaman ninyo kung anong klaseng ID at kung anong klaseng training meron ang confined space training. Huwag lang natin guys kalimutan mag-like, share at syempre subscribe and hit the notification bell guys para updated kayo sa mga gagawin ko pang video. Eto na nga guys, papasok na tayo sa loob para sa training natin. Ang pangalan niya guys is Venture Golf Safety and Security Training Center. Ito na nga guys, magi-start na yung training namin. Bali yung training namin is gaganapin sa room number 9. Hindi ko lang alam kung makakakuha ako ng video pagdating sa loob, pero try natin para may paliwanag ko sa inyo at may pakita ko sa inyo kung anong mga tinatalakay pag merong mga ganong training.
So whenever wall watcher will ask you anything, you as a entrance, you need to communicate necessarily. Okay? Wall watcher should know the exact number working in a confined space. So that's why there will be a entry log sheet. So whoever entering the confined space, they have to fill up the entry log sheet. So your name, time of entry, your name, time of exit, so that the whole watcher would know how many personnel working in a confined space at all the times. So in case of emergency, if something goes wrong, so that the whole watcher would know whether everyone evacuate or somebody remain inside. Okay. Now, to keep unauthorized personnel away from the confined space, as a wall watcher, it is his responsibility or wall watcher responsibility to keep unauthorized personnel away from confined space. Okay. To alert rescue personnel if there is an emergency. If there is an emergency situation, so wall watcher cannot enter confined space. As I said, wall watcher has to alert the emergency rescue team. But wall watcher cannot enter confined space. He is not permitted to enter confined space. Okay. Now, this type of multi-gas detector will be used to test atmospheric hazard in a confined space. Rescue and emergency procedure. When we talk about the rescue and emergency procedure, in case of emergency, if something happen, what will happen? If something happen, if we have a victim inside the confined space, wall watcher will communicate with the rescue team and the supervisor. So authorized rescue personnel will enter and rescue the victim. So not anybody, okay? Only the authorized rescue personnel are required or assigned to rescue victim from confined space. If you act like a rescuer without protection, you will be next victim. So we don't want to have victim. If you see the victim, evacuate, you inform your wall watcher to arrange the emergency evacuation. Okay, it's very, very important. And those who are acting as a rescue personnel, they will have a first aid training, they will have a medical related training, and they will have a rescue practical simulation. So once in a year, they have to practice how to rescue victim from a confined space. As I say, whenever you are entering confined space, it is a permit required confined space training, and we would not enter confined space without permit. But during the work progress, what will happen if there will be any emergency and we evacuate, our permit will be suspended or cancelled. So if there is a rescue requirement and we evacuate, your permit again suspend. So if you have to re-enter, we need to revalidate our permit. All the process like a new risk assessment, new permit has to be issued before entering. If you go for break as per the permit, you work 30 minutes, you went out for the break, your permit remains the same. But if you exit due to emergency or rescue, so what will happen? Your permit will be suspended. So always keep in your mind. Okay? Now, entrance responsibilities. When we talk about the entrance responsibilities, those who are entering the confined space, they must be trained. So what kind of confined space they will be working? So they should have a training. They should be authorized by the supervisor, meaning whoever working in a confined space, they have to work under supervisor, supervision or instruction. And we should wear the proper PPE and we should observe the entry procedure and the permit. So if you have to work particular confined space, you should know that what kind of confined space, what activity you will be performing, how many of us will be working inside, how long we can work, and what is the duration, each shift, how long, like you may have to work 10 minutes or 10 minutes break, or you need to work 30 minutes or 10 minutes break. So depending on the risk assessment, depending on your permit, like depending on your task, depending on the weather, so all would be calculation, and there would be a what you call summary, or there will be an instruction written in your permit. So what would be the time shift or duration would be written clearly. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that your permit would clearly listed there potential hazard within the confined space. What are the potential hazard within the confined space? If we have to enter any confined space, we should know what kind of hazard you may encounter inside, so that you will be alert, you will be awake. But if you don't know and you just go there, if something goes wrong, it may delay for you to understand, and it may your life may at risk. Okay? Use the required equipment properly for the safe entry. Whatever equipment you are using, you have to ensure those are safe for you to use, and always you need to communicate with your goal watcher. Whenever goal watcher asks you, like Mr. A, are you okay? Mr. B, are you okay? So whatever question from goal watcher, you need to answer, because the goal watcher trying to communicate with you for your own safety, for your safety. Okay, he just want to ensure you are well-being in this. Okay, you are safe. Okay, if you are not answering, it means you are not safe, or something is there going on, right? So goal watcher, whenever he or she asks you, always try to communicate. It's very, very important for your own safety. Now, alert the goal watcher whenever there is a sign for unsafe situation. If there will be an unsafe situation, if there will be like you feel it's not safe, so immediately you have to alert your goal watcher. Because if you are not alerting, maybe goal watcher don't know, right? So you need to alert goal watcher, and if the goal watcher not taking any action, if you are not safe, immediately evacuate, because no one can force you to work on safe manner, because you have authority to stop all the unsafe act. And again, your priority, your safety. Okay? Now, evacuate the confined space whenever you have instruction from your supervisor, or whenever you have instruction from your goal watcher, without questioning. Okay? Because we don't have time to question answer. When they ask you to evacuate, evacuate. It's very, very important for your own safety. Even though the job, if you extend 2 minutes, you may finish your job, but no way. You have to ensure that you need to evacuate. Now, whenever you have to work in a confined space, your permit will clearly define what are the permit you are required. Okay? Now, these are the general permit, general PP you may have to wear whenever you are working or entering confined space. helmet, coveralls, safety shoes, safety gloves, glasses, ear protection, safety harness, lifeline, alarm, and toxic leak. You may need to have. Breathing apparatus not compulsory depending on your confined space, but the most important would be the safety harness. Why the safety harness is important? For rescue. Because when we become unconscious, if the rescue comes or somebody will try to put the harness on, it would be difficult, right? Otherwise, if you are not wearing harness, you know what the rescue will do? They will bring the rope, they will tie on your neck and they will try to rescue. So what will happen? Eventually we may die, right? Or they may tie your hand and rescue. So what will happen? Pain will be there. But if it is safety harness, easily they can hook like your dash or D-ring, they will try to rescue. Even they have to pull or even they have to lift, it will be easy. That's why they now compulsory to wear safety harness, whether it's vertical or horizontal, or depending on your rescue plan. Okay? Now, as we discussed earlier, to make sure that the air inside the confined space is free of hazard, the 3 tests should be done. So we discussed about the oxygen level. So what should be the oxygen level? 20.8 to 21%, right? Flammable gas? 0. Toxic gas?
0.
0. Very good. This is before we enter, right? Pre-entry. Now we already working in a confined space. While working in a confined space, what must be the oxygen level we have to maintain? While working in a confined space, what level should be maintained? 19.5 to 23.5, right? If below 19.5, we should stop the job and evacuate. Why? Oxygen deficiency. If the oxygen level 23.5 and above, oxygen enrichment. So we should stop the activity because the oxygen enrichment meaning what will happen? The flammability range will be high. Then what will happen? Any small spark or something else, it will boom, right? There might be like a fire incident may happen or explosion may happen. So the safe level to work between 19.5 to 23.5. If below 19.5, we are not permitted. If above 23.5, we are not permitted. Clear? Okay. What about the toxic and flammable? 0. Again, now when the flammable limit like a 10%, which is the lower exposure limit, if reach more than that, that would be considered dangerous. But always we have to maintain 0. This is we don't require, because if the flammable gas presents again small spark or something else, it may cause fire and explosion. If the toxic gas present, toxic gas we know very well that is a poison. So when we inhale poisonous gas, so depending on the concentration, we may ill, sick or die. Okay, so when we are working in a confined space, we have to ensure that the ventilation must be in place. No ventilation, no work, because for sure you will not have a natural ventilation. Okay, so we need to have artificial ventilation. So the blower, normally the hose, the blower would be there throughout the entry. Whenever the personnel are working inside the confined space, the ventilation must be continued throughout the entry. So always keep in your mind, no permit, no work. Very simple. Okay? No gas testing, no entry. No ventilation, no work. If you are not brief, if you are not explain the task to you and you think it's not safe, do not enter confined space. Do not act any unsafe. Because that unsafe act would affect you and that would affect everybody. So that's why we need to have a competent team to work. So if we are all competent, so it will not affect yourself, it will not affect your co-workers. It's very, very important. And what we know, confined space is hazardous area. So if you are taking precaution, you would be safe. So if you are not taking precaution, so you would be in danger. So always try to ask. If you don't know or if you have doubt, always ask. Make sure you are safe. Only act if you are safe.
And ayun na nga guys, natapos na yung mahaba naming training. Sana guys, tinapos ninyo. Kasi kung tinapos ninyo, marami kayong matututunan at natutunan sa video na to. At least kung magkaroon man kayo ng training na katulad nitong sa akin, aware na kayo sa mga pag-uusapan at mapag-uusapan sa loob guys. Sana marami kayong natutunan and God bless guys. Thank you very much and please subscribe my channel guys. Thank you.